Hi, my name is Kristen Jacqueline, and I'm a graduate student in the Public Administration degree here at Hamline University. I have a business management bachelor degree, and I have been working with Ramsey County for the last 13 years. During this time, I have worked in the Human Resources Department, the Community Corrections Department. I've worked directly with the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners for several years, and for the last 6 years, I've been working in the Community Human Services Department. I decided to go back to school and get my master's degree in order to basically move up the ladder and hopefully be able to provide more insight into the decisions that are made within my department. Since I haven't had the chance to meet any of you yet, I'm not sure what your travel plans are, but I thought I would share that my trip to Europe might be a little bit different than some of you. I say that because I've actually taken a leave from work and I'll be spending the entire month of June in Europe. Not only to participate in this international seminar, but also so I can travel throughout Europe for some time. So what I hope to gain is a great deal of cultural understanding and experiences that would deepen my insights, knowledge, and skills in public administration. But this trip will also offer me the opportunity to immerse myself in customs and languages in the countries that I will be traveling to, which I am looking forward to. I'm not the sort of person that has a lot of expectations going into an experience like this. But what I can say is that I certainly hope to make more friends. I hope to learn a lot that I can bring back to my fellow MPA students this fall during all the countless presentations that I'll have to give, which I'm sure that they are looking forward to. But most of all, I hope that we have a great, successful, safe, and great time together. The European Union is a partnership between 28 European countries which focuses on many things that include striving to protect the environment, encouraging job creation, reducing disparities, and connecting countries by developing cross-border infrastructure. The 28 countries that are members of the European Union you will find here on this slide. The European Union was a product of the Second World War and was created by a diverse group of people who held the same ideals: a peaceful, united, and prosperous Europe. The beginning of the European Union in the 1940s was a peaceful one at the end of the war. The 6 founding countries were Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. The 1950s were dominated by Cold War between East and West, but toward the end of the 1950s, the European Economic Community, or Common Market, was created. The term common market refers to the first stage towards the creation of a single market, which would include things like free trade and free movement between countries. The 1960s was known as a period of economic growth because the countries within the European Union stopped charging custom duties when they would trade with one another. The 1970s brought about the first enlargement of the European Union because Denmark, Ireland, and the United Kingdom joined. There was an energy crisis and some economic problems in Europe during this time as a result of the Arab-Israeli War. The last of the dictatorships in Europe ended during this time. The European Union started to work on creating jobs and infrastructure in the poorer areas within Europe, and in 1979, all citizens can, for the first time, elect their European Parliament directly. In the 1980s, Greece, Spain, and Portugal all joined the European Union. In 1986, the Single European Act is signed, which provides the basis for free flow of trade across the European borders and thus creates the single market. Turmoil was felt when on November 9th of 1989, the Berlin Wall is pulled down and the border between East and West Germany is opened for the first time in 28 years. In the 1990s, Austria, Finland, and Sweden all joined the European Union. With the collapse of communism across Central and Eastern Europe, Europeans became closer neighbors. The single market was completed when the 4 freedoms of movement of goods, services, people, and money. During this time, people were concerned with how to protect the environment and how Europeans can act together when it comes to security and defense matters. During the 2000s, the euro was established for many Europeans. The war on terror is created after the September 11th attacks, and the European Union countries began to work more closely to fight crime. During this time, 13 additional countries all joined the European Union between 2004 and 2007. In this current decade for the European Union has been a decade of opportunities and challenges. Croatia was the last country to join the European Union, and they did so in 2013. As we saw here, the European Union countries also saw a severe economic crisis, but they have also seen investments in new environmental friendly technologies, and the European Union is currently reporting that cooperation between the 28 countries will bring lasting growth and welfare. The European Union is unique simply because each of these 28 countries has their own approach to policies and such. So each country can be very different from one another countries to the next. There are two principal treaties on which the European Union are based on, and they are first the Treaty on European Union, which has been in effect since 1993, and the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union, which has been in effect since 1958. These treaties describe how the European Union operates. The Treaty on the European Union was organized into three pillars. Pillar 1 is also called the Economic Community, contains previous treaties and their revisions, but also important new policies. The second pillar introduced a common foreign and security policy. The third pillar addresses cooperation in the fields of justice and home affairs, which includes such issues as police cooperation, immigration, asylum, and internal security matters. Throughout the years, the third pillar, which focuses again on the justice and home affairs, included several policies around immigration. However, in May of 2014, as the southern borders of Europe were seeing a real crisis, the European Union decided to give the subject of immigration urgent attention, and they began the process of figuring how to articulate the next stage of the European Union's immigration development. During this time, a set of long-term objectives and priorities for action needed to be determined, while at the same time dealing with the crisis that was taking place. From 2012 to 2014, the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees registered more than 2.5 million refugees from Syria, with more than twice that number displaced internally. And up to this point, the European Union's response had been particularly underwhelming. The European Union faced some challenges during this time because the public grew more skeptical toward immigration, and they also believed that their governments lost control and were no longer able to manage immigration flows effectively. Future policy planning in the justice and home affairs area not only had to set out realistic goals, but they also had to push harder to connect with citizens and acknowledge their concerns and implement a shared narrative regarding immigration. For national policymakers and those working on the front line, the most effective immigration policy is one that achieves the objective at hand, whether it is disseminated at the European level, national level, or regional level. However, as member countries develop more comprehensive immigration systems and are engaging in constant adjustment of these systems according to their year-on-year data, local and national needs, and growing budgetary constraints, they are pushing against some of the more formalistic approaches to the European Union's policy development. The European Union is working on a policy brief that will explore the possibilities of lateral thinking and how structural reform, when it comes to how policies are developed, could possibly help with this. One thing is certain, though, immigration is likely going to be among one of the largest issues for the European Union over the next several years.